All right, welcome to Yvng Scvm Artist Highlight. You're here with Robert Lamont and Busta Grime. Today with American rapper and producer Burnout MacGyver. Thanks again for coming on, man.
Thank you for having me, for real.
Burnout MacGyver is currently signed to Mystic Plug Records. Since 2017, he's consistently releasing music to the masses. We're excited to have him here with us to get to know more behind the music.
Excited to be here. I appreciate you guys having me.
Thank
Yes.
you. Is there a story behind your name?
Yeah, there is. I was with a friend, someone who he goes by Prick Squad. Actually, I make some music with him still. We were at my first very old studio setup, and it was late as fuck. We didn't have nothing to smoke out of. I don't really know what I was doing. I think I was like pushing a pen through a bottle cap or some shit like that. He's like, "What the fuck you doing, Burnout MacGyver?" And yeah, that was it. It's like, wow, that's it right
Iconic.
there.
It's stuck.
Yeah, I was like, we're using that for something. He's like, I don't even know if he acknowledged it. We were just trying to smoke at the time, but yeah, at some point
And that's
right
how it
there.
happens, man. It's just those moments of inspiration. So share with me, how would you describe the type of music you make, besides just calling it rap?
I would say subgenre wise, I do a couple of different things. People refer to it as funk, PHONK, with more of a Memphis influence, the chopped and screwed hooks and stuff like that. Slug does a lot of beats in that style, so I hop on a lot of beats of that style. But I also do a lot of beats that kind of teeter into the old school, like you'd call them boom bap or golden era type stuff, more 90, 95 BPMs where I'm just rapping straight through. And then a lot of dark trap too, like just heavier kind of, you could hear it in the club type of thing, maybe some Metro Boomin influence type thing like that. So man, really just any beat that I hear, I'm trying to find a pocket and rap on it, like anything I hear.
Awesome. So while we're on that topic, how did you start linking up with the founder of Mystic Plug Records, Slug, producing your tracks?
Very serendipitous in a way, because he had actually hit me up on SoundCloud. Somebody DM'd him on SoundCloud and was like, "Hey, check out Burnout MacGyver." So he checked me out, DM'd me on there, and I didn't see it. And then he DM'd me on
No
Instagram,
way.
and fucking somehow I also didn't see it. And then I went to message him because I saw his beats. Somewhere I saw his beats. I was like, "Holy shit! I gotta message this guy." I went to message him, and there's already like 3 messages of him trying to get a hold of me. I was like, "Oh, okay, perfect."
Damn, so he wanted to work with you for some time
Yeah,
then.
it was maybe like I can't remember how long the gap was. It was maybe like a week or two where someone was just like, "Hey, message Burnout MacGyver," and within that period, I found out about him, shot him the message, and we were just like, "Okay, I think this was meant to be in a way." And then the first pack that he sent me was like, I swear it was like 400 or 500 beats. It was like a gigabyte drive that he sent me. Yeah, and usually,
No
producers are
way.
like, "Hey man, I got beats for you," and they
Wow.
send you 2 or 3, and you kind of got to go with that vibe. But got 500 beats. I was like, oh my head was spinning. Like I just immediately started writing to like 2 or 3 of them, and then he sent me thousands of beats since then, and we just had a real good rapport on the music, and the songs just came real easy.
Upon discovering you, a lot of your, typical listeners are going to be immediately entranced by your visual aesthetic. Obviously, there's kind of like an element of mystery being the fact that you have a mask. What form of self-expression freedoms come along with being, a rapper as a masked artist?
I think a lot. I think that being able to create a character, it to me, it's a lot easier if you have some kind of makeup or mask or just something. The one thing I notice is that people can draw it really easy. Like you do the little loops here, the loops at the mouth. So like that allowed people to start drawing fan art and start drawing me. Whereas like a very detailed face, that's a lot more difficult to draw, I feel like. So from just a recognizable standpoint, I think it's good. And from another standpoint that I like is that you don't really age in a mask, which part of me doesn't like that because I like seeing that in artists, seeing them age and where they came from and all that. But from me, who sometimes feel like I'm running against the clock with, trying to make it, whatever that would be called or whatever, I like that I'm just permanently like this.
So what you're saying is it's not Benjamin Button behind there?
It's not. No, it's a dude that's getting
Oh shit.
significantly older, but you can't really, when I
Oh
got the
yeah.
mask on, I'm just burnout. I'm not necessarily Burnout with a scar on his face, Burnout losing his hair, Burnout anything that's going on. Not that, scars or any of that, but
It's
it's
a
right
statement,
here.
man. It's iconic.
So what you see is what you get type of thing, and you're always going to see this and get it. So I feel like it was really big because I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do. I wanted to go faceless, but until I found this mask, I didn't know what it was gonna really be. And then I found this and was like, that's it.
How has your sound changed and developed from the beginning of Burnout releases, like since 2017 till now? Back in the day, there was a little bit more autotune prevalent in your stuff.
Yeah, that would be the most thing. I was really in the beginning. I was making a lot of my own beats too, so I was more on like experimenting overall. So I was trying to do a lot of saturation with my vocals, reverb, auto tune, and then I kind of just at some point for me, even the feeling like my favorite thing to do is to write a rap, to write 16 bars, to write it and record it. So like I kind of got so far away from that, and I just had to scale back and say, all right, number one, what do I want to do? And number two, what am I the best at? And that's hands down
Oh yeah.
rapping. So I kind of just had to say, all right, just narrow your focus in, and that's really what I wanted to do with my stuff. So that's where it went from like, you hear me, yeah, I'm most likely now I'm just in the pocket rapping my ass off as best as I can. Whereas before I was kind of looking for something, and I'm like, it's been in front of me the whole time, actually.
What helps you overcome those creative blocks, whenever you feel kind of stuck for inspiration? I know you're constantly pushing out new music, which is
Yeah,
awesome.
I try to just kind of get out of the studio. Like I'll try to do something else. I'll try to go box for a little bit or go for a run or just
Oh
call
yeah.
somebody that I haven't called in a while and talk to them and just kind of, or have a night out too. A couple nights out will always kind of do the trick. Go have some experiences, come back in the morning, kind of with your head a little spinning, like, all right, now time to buckle down. But for me, it's definitely just not trying to push through them by staring at the paper and staying in the studio. Like when I feel that block, I'm like, all right, I need to divvy up, do something else, and then I'll come back and know that my juices will kind of, rejuvenate themselves.
Yeah, man, it's no lie that you are a complete workhorse. I mean, you have a massive discography. You have 14 albums out, about on average like 3 albums per year. That's a lot, not to mention like any singles or anything else that you've done as well. Do you attribute that to just work ethic or how good Slug is at producing and giving you tracks so much?
It really was meeting Slug and getting all the beats because in the beginning I was producing for myself a little bit out of necessity. I didn't really, like I said, when producers sent me beats, they'd send me like 2 to 3 or 5 of them, and then they'd come with all, oh, dude, if you want this, let me. It was all these contingencies and all these things, and I never really had anybody that was like, let's build. I'm gonna send you everything I got and let's build. So really, once I had the canvases, because I couldn't even tell you. I have thousands and thousands of raps that are, sitting around, but if you don't have the canvas or the sonics to put them out, it's really hard to figure out what to do with them. So really that was it. Just having this huge library of all these beats that are just fucking perfect for me to get off everything I need to say. No matter what mood I'm in. If I'm in and I want to talk some cocky shit, he's got a beat for it. I got beat down by the world that day and I need to
Oh
get
yeah.
that off my chest, like he's got a beat for it. So that really I attribute all of it to that. That I have all of the sonics that I need now to just anything I need to say, I can find it and push it out.
That's awesome. Shout out to the power of the internet for linking that for sure. What are some artists and genres that inspired your sound where you're at today?
I think that the biggest for the image would be 80s thrash. All the stuff that I used to listen to, like Rain and Blood by Slayer, Kill 'Em All by Metallica, Death Angel. I used to be really into metal. I played in metal bands for a while. There's so much like grunge. I really fuck with grunge. Alice in Chains is one of my
Hell
biggest
yeah.
influences ever. Like Dirt, that album is just when I play it, I know I'm safe when I'm listening to Dirt. So like I wanted to I guess make music where people can find a really just really safe place in it where you know what you're gonna get type of thing. And Currency from that era, that was like my first era of like he was gonna be on Young Money. He did that first single, it didn't really work out, and then he just dipped out and started putting out a shitload of mixtapes and YouTube singles. And I feel like that was the first instance of people being like, wow, an artist can kind of with the internet, social media can control their own destiny. So mixtape wise, Fear and Loathing in New Orleans, like all those tapes that Currency was putting out at that time, really just opened my mind to being like, all right, you don't have to push a demo that's going to get pushed to a label. You don't have to go that, typical route that everyone was going. You can just make dope shit and put it out. And if people are feeling it, they'll prop you up. And I really relate to Currency through that. And even just his music. I love his music. So that'd be a huge influence for me for sure.
Awesome. So while we're talking about people that influence you, what would be like a dream artist lineup for a Burnout tour?
Oh, man. Honestly, a dream lineup would be just Mystic Plug. Like that would be for a tour. Would be the
Oh yeah.
dream lineup. Would just be like me, Tundra, Santos, Slug, Alienbabe. We're just headlining that shit straight Mystic Plug. That'd be the dream. But for like a collab or something, for like a dream artist, honestly, I think it would be I would probably have Jerry Cantrell, the guitarist and lead songwriter of Alice in Chains, put some sweet guitar shit, and I've had Slug build a beat around it, and I'd rap over that shit because he really, songwriting wise and instrument wise, like it's my fucking guy. So if I could get him on a song, have us do our Mystic Plug thing, darken it up a little bit, build the beat, oof, I'd die a happy man.
That would be insane. That would bring such a different crowd to your type of music too.
That's what I'm saying too. Like it would just everyone that listens to that would obviously have no idea who Burnout and Mystic Plug is, most likely. And then if they heard it and liked it, it'd be like, okay, we're on this tip too now.
If you were on tour, what would be your fast food go-to order?
Have to be McDonald's. Have to be a McDonald's order. I'd probably get maybe two double cheeseburgers and a large fry, something like that. Just a classic. Maybe a 10-piece.
So are you doing any sauces?
I'm doing buffalo sauce. I'm doing a little bit of ketchup, maybe some barbecue sauce. Kind of depends on my mood for the day. I really switch the sauces up depending on the mood.
Have you played live shows as Burnout yet, like in person?
I have not. No, I actually just got a friend, power of the internet again. She goes by Booter Newblaze. She's a very talented designer. She made me an exact replica of this mask because I bought it from a street vendor in LA and I can't find another one. I've Googled you clown luchador. I've Googled a bunch of different stuff and I couldn't find another one. So my whole thing was like, if I go to a show and, be an idiot like I am half the time and I lose this mask, I'm in some deep waters. Like it's completely attached to my image. So I do have the backup one now. She did an amazing job. It's like spitting image, the exact same thing. So now that I have that, I'm talking to some people in Detroit and some people in the Midwest. I'm from the Midwest, Cleveland, Akron, different places like that, and trying to set some things up. I've had some offers, but I kind of want to get my stage outfit a little bit more intact. I don't really have what I'm going to do for the footwear and the bottoms yet. I got the hoodie and the chains, but I need to get it all. So that's I'm working with me and
Are
Slug.
we about
We're
to
all
see
kind
like
of
a full outfit for on stage?
I want to look like Burnout MacGyver top to bottom. So I don't want no random shoes where it's like, oh, that's just a dude wearing those. Like I wanted some like maybe some alien boots or some big spikes or something crazy. We're kind of playing with it right now, but I feel like once I get that intact, and we do have live versions of all of our songs already. So when I do a song, I'll do a live version with the vocals cut and the ad libs in the back or whatever. And I practice those all the time for breath control and just for when we're going to rock it. But in terms of actually rocking as Burnout, that is yet to come, but probably coming soon.
That is so dope. I'm excited to see what you guys come up with for that.
Fuck
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope.
Now, you've stated in previous interviews that you play piano, you play guitar. You've told us that you've also done work, with metal, grunge. Have you had any of experiences doing live shows doing that?
One of the rock bands that I was in, we ended up doing. We had one minor, and by minor, I don't even know how small you could make the word minor seem, but minor hit that kind of got around the radio airwaves, and so we did a little. It was called a Battle of the Bands tour, and we went to a bunch of different like battle places or whatever, and we ended up winning that circuit. So we had a deal on the table at some point. It just going through the fine, it was kind of like, this isn't. You know how the industry goes. It wasn't a good deal, obviously, but played a lot of shows with that band. And then before I donned the mask, I was rapping just as another dude kind of thing. And I played a lot of shows just as myself. So that would have been like 2009 to 2015, maybe 2010 to 15, something like that. I played rocked a show with Afro Man. I played couple of showcases with some big local artists and stuff. So I'm definitely comfortable on stage, and I honestly fucking love rapping on stage. It's one of my favorite things. So once I get this outfit intact, yeah, Burnout's gonna be fucking popping up.
It's no doubt that dark aesthetic runs heavily through your music and then your artwork. Were you ever interested in the witch house genre that popped up in the early 2010s?
A little bit, but I think that the darkness that has just been in my songs had just even writing metal, even writing rap back in the day. I grew up on 3 6 Mafia, a lot of that shit, and it just was always
Hell yeah.
it always had that darkness. You know, I can remember some of the first songs I smoked weed to were like "Walk Up to Your House" by 3 6. You know, all those songs. So that's kind of always been there. And then linking up with Orange Cap, who does my videos, that was like the biggest game changer for me because he's done a lot of horror, he's done a lot of like gangster type of stuff. So I didn't even he automatically just brought that kind of visual lens. Like I told him, you know, I wanted a little darker, and he just sprinkled his magic on there and did his thing with it. He and I had a real good rapport right when we met. We did our first video. We hadn't met in person yet. Like you say, the power of the internet. So we had been in contact forever, but we hadn't actually met. And right when we met, it was like, man, someone I've known my whole life. So that just, boom, super comfortable and knocked everything out. So the process is very different, but the way that I'm shooting now with Burnout, I'm very comfortable because I got, you know, someone I'm super comfortable shooting with, and then everyone we brought in, like the female lead of the Once Upon a Time video, everyone's just been super cool to work with. So put me in a real comfortable spot.
Awesome, awesome. So Burnout, when you go out and you're producing and you're starting to create these tracks, are you visualizing what the video might look like?
No, not usually. Honestly, like my biggest and what I consider the best video that I did was a live. That was completely Orange Cap's idea. Like completely the idea for the video, the treatment, the even using the song alive. I hadn't visualized that as a video song. He was just like, "Hey man, I have a real strong connection to this song and I got an idea I want to shoot." And I was like, "Bet." So now I'm thinking more a little bit like that now just because I got my guy and we can do whatever we want pretty much, but for the most part when I'm making a track, I'm just thinking of the song of how it's going to sound, you know.
No, many of your tracks reference, the everyday struggles of depression and paranoia. What's the importance of mental health to you in this day of age where things like COVID put such a heavy strain on all of our mental wellness? What are things that can kind of get you out of that funk?
Yeah, I think as much as it is fucking very difficult, but when I try to eat better and like exercise and keep up with that shit, it really does help. Like my diet's not too bad overall, but I go into some pits with sugar. Like I'm an absolute fiend with sugar. If I don't watch, I'll 200 grams a day, you know. So that'll kind of get me feeling sluggish and feeling, you know, mind body. It kind of travels to my mental. So I just try to be, you know, active and doing things every day, and it helps put me in a good creative zone. And honestly, like the music is just such a great outlet for me. So the making music itself, like if I couldn't come home after a hard day and turn on one of Slug's beats and know that I can say whatever I need to say and get it off my chest, like it'd be a much more difficult situation. So just the making of the music in general, especially for my paranoia and all these unreasonable thoughts that I have in my head sometimes, just putting them out on the paper and just getting them out and being like, that's out. Now I can put it on a song. So all that shit just really, really helps me a lot.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. So you were stating about, getting that sugar rush. What's like the go-to sugar snack that just kind of
Oh
gets you
man.
going? Are you doing
Oh
just like the
man.
Red Bull, a candy bar?
Honestly, pop is my main vice. Soda pop, like ice cold can of Coca Cola, some Dr. Pepper, Mountain Dew. So with a meal, I mean, if I'm not watching, I'll just smash 24 ounces of Coke or something like that, and then get in the studio and I got a big ass thing of fucking sour crawlers or something like that. Like
Hell yeah.
I love empty sugar calories. So like a nice 40-ounce Slurpee, just right to the brain. Something like that. A whole bag of Swedish fish, Sour Patch, trolleys. I mean, yeah, anything
Swedish
pretty
fish
much.
are like god tier level.
Yeah, oh, Swedish fish. I'll have those in the studio. I'll put 7 of those in my mouth. We'll have to take a 10-minute pause so I can chew
Easily.
them and swallow them all. It's just
Oh my god. So basically, we're finding out that you are always with a big gulp in hand.
I am always with a big open hand. Well, I'm trying to now be always with a water in hand, but like, yeah, 75% I'm with some sugary drink. Or honestly, Gatorade. Like, I fuck with Gatorade super heavy. That's like healthy to me when I drink Gatorade. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm being healthy right now. A little lemon
Stay
lime or
hydrated.
exactly Glacier Freeze, Cool Blue, something like that.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. So, uh, question for you: you have a lot of pop cultural references in your tracks, ranging from GTA San Andreas to an entire album, Adriana's Wire, which
Yes,
references the iconic HBO series The Sopranos.
yes.
Are there any other TV shows, video games that kind of influence you?
Yeah, there's man so many. I watch a lot of sitcoms, like traditional laugh track multicam sitcoms when I'm like making beats, like they're like in the background and stuff. I just
Oh my
something
god.
about it is so comforting. It gets wrapped up in a half hour. I think BoJack said it honestly. Life gets wrapped up in a half hour, then the problems don't matter anymore. Like I really feel that. So just so much pop culture really seeps into my music. Between that and then I watch a lot of movies too. I watch just every type of movie, so a lot of gangster flicks and stuff like that. Like I just want to conceptualize like everything I see. I'm just like, how can I turn this into a fucking song? Because to me, I'm trying to create this world for Burnout. I'm trying to create this complete world with like all these different characters, and where better do they do that than in the movies and TV series? So I just try to translate it to like, all right, how can this world, how can I pull this in and make it a part of my world almost?
Is there a specific movie that has a soundtrack to you that is just so well done?
Yeah, the Dazed and Confused soundtrack. If you've ever seen the movie Dazed and
Oh
Mm-hmm.
Confused,
hell yeah!
I think they spent 80% of their budget on that fucking soundtrack, and they just cleared. They got all the rock classics from the 70s. Like you could that soundtrack reads like a greatest hits, honestly. And I used to bump the fuck
Mm-hmm.
out of it all the time back in the day. Just it's got like like slow ride, all those fucking jams that just you really ride out to and just cruise to. I think that has a fire soundtrack. Um, Goodwill Hunting, if you're familiar with that movie, that has Elliott Smith
Robin
did Miss
Williams.
Misery. He did an original song and won an Oscar, or not an Oscar, a Grammy, or Oscar, Grammy, something. I think it was an Oscar for an original song. So that movie, that was the first time that I had heard those songs, and I got massively into Elliott Smith from that movie. So like to me, the soundtracks are like just as integral as anything that you're seeing on the screen. And even looking at horror movies, the way that they're scored, like I was just thinking about it. We were watching like a psychological thriller, and not much is really happening, but the eerie piano and the score that's going through it is just making this fucking choke you out. There's so much tension it could choke you. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like to me, those soundtracks, yeah, it's like add everything to the movie, really.
Some of the other movies that you mentioned are like pretty much I made like in the 90s, I believe. Is there a certain decade that draws your attention more in
Definitely
terms of
the
like cinema?
90s for some reason. I don't know. The stuff was just less CGI. It just felt more personal, I think. Like I love the CGI movies, like a big ass Marvel movie or something, but that's not really anything that I can like pull into my music and to like take inspiration from. It's a great experience. You get it's big blowing up or whatever, but like those small character studies where maybe they only had a couple $1,000,000 to make it, but it just turned out fire. Like those kind of movies are really what sink in with me and what I really want to kind of use as a basis for my art and be like, all right, how can I bring this into my world and burnoutify it and turn out into something I can use type of thing.
Mm-hmm. And as far as the video game references, are you a super GTA fan and played
Yeah, that's that
almost all of
like
them?
I'm not a honestly, I don't know what it is. I suck at video games. I've never been that good. So like when everything got super competitive, I never really jumped, I don't play the recent video games, but I still play all the old ones on the PS2. So I play like GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas, Need for Speed,
Damn.
NHL hits, like not regularly, but every couple months, we'll fight Tony Hawk Pro Skater or some shit like that. We'll fire the system up. And
One of the
honestly, I
best
just thought
soundtracks ever, man.
that's what I'm so. Oh man, those soundtracks
Tony
introduced
Hawk
me to
soundtrack, ridiculous.
ridiculous. They had Rage Against the Machine on there. Some of those early songs,
I mean, same thing. Even with GTA 5, like these games are so incredibly iconic. That game's been out for over 10 years, and they're still releasing content on it. Like they just
like
did a
yeah,
collab with
that's
Dr. Dre.
the classics. I know you got T Grizzly was in there putting a rap show on virtually in GTA. I'm like, man, they're taking it right to where they need to take it. Honestly, it's crazy to see how far they went. But San Andreas was the one that probably had the most influence on me. So when we were making the song, he had that sample in there, and I heard that beat and was like, oh yeah, we're gonna release this within like a month.
You're talking about Slug, right?
Yeah, when he sent me over that beat that became "Are You Going to San Fierro," the San Andreas one, like, but within a day or 2 days, I got a full song to it, and it's just like, all right, this beat was made, we can record it, and we find a date to schedule, and boom, it's already going to come out in a month. So that
That's
I love
awesome.
that.
You guys are insane with the workflow over there for sure.
Constantly
Appreciate
pushing out
it.
tracks, man.
Appreciate it.
All right. We want to end the interview with a fun little segment where we show you 5 different photos of different luchador masks and find out if they are burnout approved or burn out. So are
Let's
you ready
go.
to play that with us?
Yes, let's go.
Okay, I'm going to put them up here in the front of the camera here.
Perfect.
Demon.
Oh, very approved. Definitely burnout approved.
It's got all the spikes.
Oh yeah.
This has something that you very much like, some Mary Jane.
Oh, beyond burnout approved. Love it. Love it.
All right, this one is so that you can hypnotize the crowd.
Ooh, I like that. I'll tell you what, I'd be a little worried wearing that one. I feel like it's very disoriented. It's very approved. I love the fucking trippiness of that one. I feel like I'd run into a wall wearing that. Oh yeah, iconic right there. The classic.
Third eye open.
I was gonna say third eye up top, burnout approved for sure.
And this last one is a little strange. It is a full English breakfast with beans, bacon, egg, and tomato.
Honestly, I might just fuck around and switch Burnout's mask to that right now because I think it's got more curve appeal. No, very Burnout approved. I love that. I need to get my hands on that, the full English.
Hell yeah, man. With the blood pudding and everything.
It got it all going on.
Burnout MacGyver, thanks again so much for coming in, speaking with us here on Yvng Scvm Artist Highlight. Do you have any upcoming work or projects you want to plug in for all the listeners?
Yeah. I got a single dropping on June 27th. It's called Exactly How I Feel is the title of it. It's some pretty personal stuff. It's a more of an introspective track. Orange Cap did the cover art, who shoots my video. He took a great picture of me on set, did the artwork. Slug did the beat. Mystic Plug's putting it out. I'm very excited about that. And then after that, I got a project dropping sometime in July or August that's going to be called The Specialist. And it's a 9-track project. It's more hip-hop focused than anything. A lot of bars and rapping and stuff like that. Few big hooks, but Slug produced the whole thing as well. So all 9 tracks produced by Slug, artwork by Slug, put out by Mystic Plug. So those are the 2 things concrete that I have right now. And then we're also looking to do Razorblade Part 2 is going to come right after the tape. So the song that I have, Razorblade, we got a Part 2 in the cut. We're doing the artwork right now. We're going to probably drop that sometime in August or September. So that's about as far out right now as kind of we have scheduled, but yeah, packed already.
Damn, the crew over at Mystic Plug is putting in work for sure. So everything
Always.
is pretty much in-house with them,
Yes.
right?
Yep, everything's in-house. Yep, all the arts, the beats, the Alienbabe, she does all the canvases, so all of the visuals that I have on my track, she does. She's crazy with leveling up, because everyone's got the canvases now, so it's like we do all of that in-house as well, and that's really, taking my Spotify to a new level, having her doing all the canvases and, 3D, artwork and stuff like that. So everything you see that we put out is done by Mystic Plug.
That's amazing. Well, thanks again to everyone listening and watching. Stay tuned for more episodes. We're going to put all of Burnout MacGyver's socials in the info below, and you can keep up to date with him there.
Hell
Thank you
yeah.
so much.
Thanks for having me. I honestly, I really appreciate it. This was so much fun for me. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much again, and well, all the best, YS.